Okay, welcome to the Pick Up Korea podcast, and today I have a special guest. He is actually just finishing the Immersion Program here in Korea, which was a total of 8 sessions. I'm getting a lot of emails about people asking what is the Immersion Program. So basically what it is it's 8 sessions of in-field coaching, which we go over some inner game mindsets, we go over your dating goals, we go over everything really from A to Z, from the first approach, day game. We go over some night game. We go over, texting. We also have a date module where I observe your date, how you're doing, right? And also recordings of dates, recordings of your sets, giving you feedback, sort of pointing out the blind spots and how to improve them, and then relationship management kind of at the end, right? So what do you do once you're successful on dates? How to kind of manage relationships, right? So anyways, we have Nathan here today. And so maybe you can give us a little bit of a background, like how was your experience before starting this immersion program? Maybe you can share a little bit about your background in dating previous to coming to Korea.
I am, so basically I am from the Netherlands, but my background is Indian origin. So growing up in the Netherlands, dating wise, I always felt a little bit, it's an insecurity I built up being there, also partly because of bullying in my past, that I was like not feeling very confident around girls, particularly around European girls and around Dutch girls in particular. So I was kind of like a very late bloomer in terms of like my growth as a pickup. I first started doing pickup when I was 26, and back then I was still a kiss virgin even. I never kissed a girl back then. So I did my first boot camp back then, and I got like my first kiss ever, which was like big thing for me back then. And it took a long while for me to actually get a lay. I think I was 30 when I got my first lay, so it took me like 4 years of just approaching and a lot of dates. Like at first I was able to not to get a number, but the numbers were never solid, so I got like flaky numbers all the time. Then I eventually got numbers which were solid enough for one date, and then I got the date, but I didn't know how to do there. Then I had to got the girls over to my place from the date, but then I didn't close for a long time because I had a fear over that, because I had a lot of insecurities about my virginity, So like, oh my god, what will they think about me? What if they find out that I'm a virgin? I was this cool guy and they suddenly figure out I'm like a total loser, That's like this complete ridiculous like mental stuff that's blocking you. So I eventually got over it and I got my first lay, and it turned out to be not so scary as I thought it would be. It was kind of fun actually, but also like it was a reality check. It was nothing special actually to get a lay. It was what I felt, and so I ended up getting more dates, but I was still struggling a lot. I mean, in total I only had like 3 times sex before the program, and this program after the program I got 3 lays in the 3 weeks. So that's kind of a crazy result for me. I matched what I had my entire life on top of 4. I did it in 3 weeks here.
Okay, great. Yeah. I'm interested. So, first of all, since most of your experience with pickup, you did a few boot camps in Europe, right? And then you did 3 boot camps in Europe, or 4?
I did 1 boot camp in Netherlands. That's my first boot camp, was a Dutch boot camp.
Okay.
And then I went. I did a immersion with Todd, with RSD.
Yep.
And I went to Derek as well one time.
Okay.
And then after that, I was coached for like a long-term program for a year with a Dutch coach again in Amsterdam. It was prior to my Pickup Korea experience.
Okay, cool. I'm curious a little bit about so I get a lot of clients from Europe, right?
Yeah.
Especially these days, I'm getting a lot of emails since the world's back open. And
Yeah.
all the COVID shit's over.
Yes.
I was getting a lot of emails during COVID about European guys wanting to come to Korea, but a lot of countries were banned at the time, or they had weird what is that called? Like quarantine regulations and stuff like that, right? And so now that a lot of Europeans are coming back into Korea, you can see even on the streets, there's just like tons of European tourists everywhere now, right?
Yes.
What would you say are like the big differences between European girls? I mean, you only had what, 3 weeks here total, right?
2
But
weeks.
that's still a pretty good sample size. You got
Yeah.
a few lays, you got a few dates or several dates or whatever, Insta dates as
Yeah.
well. So what would you say, in your experience, is the difference between European girls and Korean girls?
Well, the biggest difference with European girls, so Western girls in general, and Korean
Sure.
girls is that in Korea, if they don't want or interested in you, they just walk away, which feels harsh at the beginning, but it's actually very good because you know exactly who really is into you. That's one thing. The second thing is that if they're really interested, if they give you their number, most often they're really interested in meeting you. But then you have to deal with their own logistical nightmare that they are always
Yeah.
they're always like how do you say they're see a Korean culture I've realized is that they are workaholics and they work very hard, which is appreciable, but then at the same time they have very little time to like to meet you. So you have to really be quick and setting up a date. And I had some couple of experience where a girl really liked me, but she just couldn't meet me because her work constraints were so much that she couldn't meet me.
Right. So yeah, it's
That's a big difference.
yeah, for sure. Those are big differences. Like in Korea, there's a lot of overtime work, depending on what kind of job they have. There's a lot of social obligations, work obligations.
Yes.
Or in Europe, it's a much slower pace. They work a lot less. There's less, like we call it hueshik in Korean, which is like business dinners and things along these lines, right? So Korea is a very fast-paced, very busy place, whereas in Europe, you definitely have a slower
Yes.
pace and things like that, right? Okay, yeah, those are some big differences. Anything else?
Yeah, one more big difference is that when you're doing game, in Korea I felt I can just have a normal conversation with them of just like basic things. You don't have to be like excessively flirty, or you don't have to say any like gamey stuff like what you have to do in Europe maybe. It's more like just being a cool, fun person. You know, just focus on your fundamentals. Just having your, if you talk slow, and that's one thing you have to be very careful here. If you talk slow here, not just because it's fundamental basic, but also because their English levels are not always as high, so they won't understand it.
Sure.
But just if you're being fun and cool, you know, and you don't need to say like flirty, overtly sexual things to them, which you might have to do in like, let's say, Portugal or Brazil, those kind of countries.
Yeah, you can be a lot more subtle in your flirtation.
Yes.
It can be, just speaking slow, eye contact.
Yes.
Less overt. You can make flirty statements, of course, here too.
Yes.
That's good. That's very good.
Yes.
However, more subtle than.
Yeah.
You don't need to be so like overtly sexual and overtly dominant, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Another thing that's really common. This is kind of like one reason I wanted to have you on the podcast too. Is I also get a lot of emails from guys who are like, I am Indian, because you're Indian as well. Like, I am Indian. Is it possible for Indian man to lay with Korean girl? And it's like,
Yes, it is.
So yeah, it is obviously because you hook up with girls here and everything. But what would you say to your Indian brothers out there, or maybe brothers in New Delhi or Tamil Nadu or wherever they're from?
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, there might be Indian guys listening, Indian guys considering coming to Korea. What would you tell them?
Well, it's definitely possible. You have to realize that you might not, maybe like in America, you get stereotyped or looked down at as Indian, but I don't really felt that here from Koreans.
Okay.
I think there is some appreciation of Indian culture here as well,
Okay.
to a certain extent. Of course, you have to look groomed properly, right? Yeah,
Sure.
just dress up properly and present your best self, and then
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters like where you're from in that sense. Like here you meet so many quality girls who just look at your personality a lot more than your looks,
Looking at your vibe, how
Yeah,
you're
your
coming
vibe,
off,
yes, yeah.
how you're coming off,
Yeah.
right? Okay, for sure.
And realize that as an Indian person, you do have some exotic value as well here, right?
Yeah, for sure. The other thing is like, I guess you learned this too, is like a lot of Korean girls are really into Indian food, and a lot of Korean girls really like yoga and stuff like that. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe you can share a little bit about like, I think your first close that you had on a date was with a yoga teacher, I believe, right?
That's
and
right.
actually, for me, honestly, some of my favorite girls that I've dated in Korea, I would say half of them maybe were yoga teachers.
And the other half are
Because
Pilates.
yoga or Pilates, yeah. Number one, you probably know why.
Yeah.
Number one is they're always like hot and in good shape because
Yes.
they're. I mean, their job is literally exercising.
Yes.
So they're happy, they're healthy. You know, they're in touch with like their physicality, and also, as you mentioned, like a lot of girls that work in like corporate, like
Yes.
Samsung or LG, they're stuck in this like rat race of working till 10 p.m. or 8 p.m.
Correct.
Business dinners. Whereas the yoga teachers, they lead a more balanced life. You know, they don't
Yeah.
have all this crazy shit. They're
Yeah.
exercising. They're stress-free. They're generally like more happy, carefree kind of
Yes.
people. So
I
maybe you can
noticed
share a
that.
little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that experience with the yoga teacher was kind of interesting because I met her in the subway, in the sewers, as you would say, right?
The Gangnam Station.
Gangnam Station,
underground,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And she was really stood out from the crowd because everybody was walking in a hurry, but she was like walking so lightly, you know, like very gentle, carefree. So I noticed it. So one of the things, like since I was in this immersion program, I had to constantly, under your pressure a little bit, constantly like approach, right? So at some point you get into the zone or something that you can sort of feel the cues, and notice her walking very slowly. I approached her and turned out to be a yoga teacher, and then I used my Indianness there in the approach. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm from India. My grandfather used to do yoga." Like I took something which can be relatable to her, you know,
Yeah.
and would be interesting for her because she probably never met an Indian guy
Sure.
who like. And then I also did some yoga, so I shared some like I did some yoga too in California. So all those elements really got her interested because that's probably something she would relate to.
Sure. You're able to kind of like dive deeper on her values. and
Yes,
the thing
yes.
that she does for a living, and
Yes.
you can even kind of like be the big brother kind of guy who's like showing her like, oh, this is what yoga is actually about. It's
Yeah.
actually about like, yeah, there are these asanas, there are all these exercises. However, really, yoga is about union with the divine, is what
Yes.
it's about, right? So there's also meditation and mindset, and there's more than just mere stretching.
Correct.
There's deeper layers, you know, and then
Yes.
like allowing her to see that aspect of you, you know, it's kind of cool, right? Kinda
Yes.
Cool. Okay, yeah, that was a really good one. Yeah, yoga teachers are really amazing in my opinion. Okay, maybe like another thing that would be fun is like maybe you can go through in a kind of long-term program like this. There's always like really nice highs and really nice lows. Or
Yeah.
maybe not nice lows, horrible lows or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So maybe you can share like what were some of the highest moments? I think I might know like one of the highest moments, but what are some of the highest moments? What are the lowest moments that you felt?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't felt very deep lows this time.
Okay.
Probably because I felt already very satisfied for the program. But yeah, some disappointments were probably the flakes of the dates. But you couldn't really blame them because I realized that they didn't flake me because they didn't like me. Because they were actually busy. So that's a nice thing. There's some honesty here, you know. Honesty seems to be a big thing here in comparison to like in America where they actually just approach you, they're just being friendly to you. So I never knew in America when I had a number if she was actually into me and wanted to meet me. But here it was like always, if she didn't want to meet me, she won't have my number. She will not give me her number, right? So, I didn't feel many deep lows. My highest moment was probably on Wednesday. It was 2 days ago, where I had my first direct 15 minutes pull directly to my place.
Same day lay. From the
yeah,
street.
from the street.
Yeah, that's
So-
the first ever in your life, right?
My first ever. Yeah.
Nice.
And I never thought I was a guy that can pull that off. You know, that's what I thought. I first of all, in the beginning, I didn't. When I first heard of the concept of same day lay, I thought it's some kind of a myth. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like-
well, even me, this is like
Yes.
12 years ago, hearing that, it doesn't sound like it's even possible. It sounds like,
It sounds
come on,
like
give me a
rape to
break.
me. You know, it sounds like rape to me.
Yeah, or or like some kind of like fantasy or something.
Yeah, but apparently, even for me, like then I realized that there were guys I knew who were able to do it, and I thought, okay, that's not going to be me. I'm somebody who just needs one date or two dates, right? I used to be a guy who thought he needed a month, but now one day, two dates. But then I pulled it off. It was crazy. So what I learned was, yeah, it is possible, and you don't need to be the. This is one other thing I thought, like, oh, I have to be this super perfect tan, blonde Swedish model, surfer dude,
Right.
blue eyes, tall, jacked,
Right.
long blonde,
Yeah.
great jawline and everything.
Right.
But
right,
I'm
right.
just an Indian guy, right? As you would like, oh, I'm just an Indian guy.
Right. Right.
So
right.
I was able to do it. So
What are some of the skills that we learned on the program that allowed you to do that? Because I mean, there were certain things we were working on. For example, leading, compliance, slowing down your voice. There are certain things that we were really working on. And I mean, what do you think are like a couple critical things that you learned that allowed you to pull something like that off?
So the biggest sticking point I had before I entered the program, which you were constantly hammering me on, was my voice. That I was talking way too fast and kind of giddish and showing over excitement. Not because I'm actually excited, but because kind of a habit that it built up into me, like this, like fast talking, and also my tonality at the end of the word is like always goes up. So those getting just that thing right was like a big change. Then the second part is the actual leading part, like moving things forward, right? And asking for logistics. So the way this thing, what happened here was, the girl I approached, it was in the evening. She just came from, she just had drinks with her friend and colleagues, I believe. She was walking home, and my other wing spotted her and said, "Hey, look at her, she looks completely open." So I got a little bit of help there, like approaching the right person is so important sometimes.
Kind of like you said with the yoga teacher. It's
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
One thing that I try to get guys to notice is, when you're out and about, you'll notice some girls are walking much slower. They have very open body language.
Yes.
So I call this reading the emotional rhythm of the girl. So for example, like say we're having a conversation like this in a coffee shop, and somebody walks in and they're like really angry and distressed. It's almost like the energy of the room sort of goes down, right?
Right.
However, somebody comes in really happy, really like this positive vibe, and it's almost like the energy of the room lifts. So it's like noticing girls that have this sort of like sexually open energy.
Correct.
And like you said, the yoga teacher, she'd walk in.
Oh, she was so open.
She was kind of like calm and open body language, maybe touching their hair a bit, looking around. So when you can notice those kind of things, the rhythms that people are on, everyone's sort of operating on a different tempo, a different rhythm, a different energetic level, right? So the more you're able to look around and notice that, the more you can really make these quicker opportunities happen faster. That's one part, right?
Yeah.
But then if you notice it, and you just say hi and get the number, or just don't move it forward, then it's nothing. It's just
Exactly.
oh hi and then bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then what was the next step? So that was like step one, right?
So the first question you told me to ask was, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
And if you hear I'm just going home, you
Yeah.
know that's a signal
Yeah.
that you can actually
Like bounce now.
bounce. Yes. So I made a suggestion to her. Oh, let's have a quick drink. And then she said to me, "Oh, I already drank. I don't want any drink." Okay, then tea, I said. So I adapted. So we'd have tea at my place, I thought. Well, in the beginning, I still had some, like, in my mind, I was having hesitations because my fears were kicking in. I was saying, like, no, don't go for the first, don't go to your house immediately, it'll scare her. Go to a cafe. But then while we were walking, she said, like, oh, let's have alcohol anyway. Okay, let's have beers then, I said. She said no beer. She said soju. And then I thought, wow, she wants soju. I'm not somebody who drinks, actually. It's another thing I changed in the program. I just adapted, go with the flow. So I said, okay, let's go get soju at 7-Eleven. And I bought a bottle of soju. And then I said, let's find a place where we can drink. I walked towards my place. She came in, and I told her this is my Airbnb. I took my laptop out. And I wanted her to learn about Korean music. Show me your favorite song. We drank some soju, right? And then she stood up, and I told her, how tall are you? And then I made out with her. And then from there, I led her to LA. Yeah.
Nice, perfect. Okay, good. So that shows that like the value in like
Yeah.
learning to read girls, kind of what rhythm they're on, their body
Yeah.
language, and then also how to lead, how to screen up logistics,
Yeah.
how to pull home,
Exactly.
escalation. So it's all these little micro skills that led to the final result.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's not just like one thing, right? Like say you just lead, but you don't know. You don't know how to adapt. You don't know how to be empathetic. You don't know how to read the situation, right? You
But
don't know
also
how-
mental
yeah.
blocks.
And
Mental-
mental blocks are important. Yeah, exactly. There's a
Mental
lot of
block.
mental blocks too. This is
Yeah.
not possible. I need to go on 50 dates or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to bounce to 5 venues.
I will
or whatever.
scare her.
I will scare. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a really
The
good.
crazy experience thing was at
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah,
After ending the date, after
Yeah.
having sex,
yeah.
she dressed up, and I told her it's getting late. I told her we probably need to get the metro back.
Yeah.
She has to take an hour to go back,
Right.
and then I walked with her. I like doing that,
Yeah.
going walking with the girl back.
Yeah.
So like you will appreciate her, not like ditching her after sex, So I walked with her back to the metro station, and we were just vibing a bit, And at the end, after saying goodbye, she looked in my eyes. She said thank you, like thank you for so much. Like
Yeah.
it's not like she doesn't feel like a slut afterwards. She feels really happy,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. That's another misconception. It's like girls don't like sex when they actually do. In reality, here's the
Yes.
thing. I've been doing this for so long. In reality, girls like sex. From my personal experience, girls like sex much more than men do. Actually.
Yeah.
However, they want it to be comfortable. They want it to be. They want you to lead. They want
Yes.
you to understand them. They want you to connect with them. You know what I mean? So they're a little more picky in that regard.
Yes.
However, I really do feel like they enjoy it way more than men do.
Yes, they do
If it's
enjoy it.
in the right person, the right time, that kind of thing, right? Does that
Yes,
make sense?
makes sense.
So, okay, cool. Yeah, that was a really fun story. One of my favorite stories is actually one that you didn't get the lay. I mean, I gave you for this story and for a lot of the dates. Most dates that
Maybe
the
today.
guys. Yeah, you still got a day left, right? One thing that I think that's really valuable about this program is that I haven't seen on any other program. Maybe you can share because you've taken several other boot camps. Is that I shadow dates where I show up, I go to the date venue, I observe kind of in the background, like at a different table, and then I kind of take notes. And then after that, after the date, I give you a review of all the notes that I took. Where you're doing well, where you can work on, how to fix it.
Yes.
And then also even during the date, I text. I text you kind of like, it's
You
time
rescued
to,
my date.
Yeah, time to get things moving, time to do this, bounce in this way, go here, and then pull here. So that's really useful. But then on top of the in-person module, we also do recordings where I can listen to, full Insta dates, full actual dates, right?
Yeah.
And then give feedback. But one of my favorites was, two favorites was the date shadow, where I kind of taught you how to bounce from the venue home, and it worked
Yes.
perfectly.
Should I
And
share
then,
that?
yeah, you can share that one, and then also after that, I want to hear about the Maxim model, because like to come to
Yeah.
Korea in 3 weeks, no Korean, new country, and you got a date with a girl who's on the front page of Maxim right now,
Yes.
today. So that's another huge
Shock, yeah.
huge shock. Yeah. So maybe you can share those two stories. Yeah.
Yeah, so the shadow date was another girl I approached, again, just walking out of the metro. So Gangnam Station is the perfect place. It's like the mecca of all Korean girls, I believe. It's crazy. It's like a pilgrimage for guys.
The holy ground.
Yeah.
The holy.
So I approached this girl, and I did the same thing as usual, but with my changes from you, right? Changing your voice and everything, paying attention to that. She was very receptive. She was down to meet me, and we had a nice interaction on Kakao. And so I got her on the date on Sunday, and then we were there on the date. It was going well. The chit chat was okay and everything in the beginning, but it was becoming a bit stale afterwards, right? And I had to like my leading wasn't completely perfect there. But since her English levels weren't so high,
You've been using Google Translate a bit. I
yes.
recall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another good point. Like, oh, I cannot speak Korean. Well, this girl was very not good at English. She's about to just learning English, but she was so willing to meet me that she had her Google Translate
Right.
with her to talk with me.
Right.
And also she said it on the chat, right? She said it to me on the chat. I don't really know English so well. I'm using Google Translate to talk to you. She was so into me. And she traveled 1 hour to meet me. So 1 hour before the date, she's like, I'm leaving now. I'll see you in an hour. It shows the commitment she had, you know. So it was my job to make her get the full experience. So so I went on a date with her, and date was. I was talking a bit too fast, so I got that feedback from you, right? Like from the messages, like Nathan, you're talking way too fast. It's you have to talk much slower. Like one interesting thing, I was like, oh, I'll go to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom was a moment to check my phone and like to message. What is Ryan telling me? Is am I fucking up or right? The kind of thing. So I got like, of course, I got a lot of like negative comments. Not this, not good, not good. So I tried to fix it, and I got a beer as she recommended to loosen up. An interesting thing was she said she doesn't want beer, she doesn't drink. And
she said she's not good at drinking well or something like that.
Something like
that. But
that.
that's just sort of in Korean culture, it's kind of like, they don't want to look like they're kind of trashy, you know what I mean? It's called nessim, so it's like, they're not saying, oh yeah, let's down some beer. It's not as trashy of a culture like America, where it's kind of like, oh yeah, let's get fucked up. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not that good at drinking beer, just to show a little bit of class, to show a little bit of face.
That's right.
Yeah, but then what happened once you got the beers?
Once I got the beers, she finished her drink faster than me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, it was about to bounce, so we paid the bill, and then I got a golden feedback there. And it's like, walk first to the convenience store and ask her what she wants to, what she likes as a snack. And this is like golden for me because makes the transition into my place so natural, right? Like, so I'm walking to the convenience store. So what do you like? So like this one, that one, that one. Okay, we took something. We had some consensus there, and we took something. And then I walked her to my place, and then it was like super normal. We bought stuff from the supermarket so we can eat inside my place. It was sort of like, it happens sort of in an unconscious way. You already like set the frame there, and it was just smooth walking, you know. And once we were walking in, I was also seeding the date a little bit, like really like, oh yes, I want you to make a Korean playlist for me, Korean music playlist. And so I got her help there, you know, and she showed a little bit, and then at some point we were about to have sex, right? And then, but she was saying to me that she's on her period right now, so she couldn't continue, but she wants to, she said. And I really believe it, you know. I don't think she's like lying here, because all the time she's been so honest, you know. So I really think that's true. So even in her period, she still wanted to meet me and go travel for an hour, right? And then
I think you got like a hand job or something, right?
something like that, yeah.
And sucked on her tits or something. I think that's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I mean, she wasn't showing her breast immediately, but eventually she did, and.
She had a really nice body from what
she was on the very beautiful face as well.
Yeah.
Porcelain skin.
Yeah.
So, but at some point, like after I couldn't really, she said she was on her period. I let it go a little bit, and we just chilled, you know, on my bed, and then it became like a fun person. Her personality started to open a bit. And then it became a very fun vibe between each other, and then we just relaxed a bit more, chatted, like shared videos, like communicated through Google Translate, sitting next to me on my bed, half naked, right? And then what happened? We then made out some more after that, and then I couldn't go for the lay, but. It's fine, you know, and then
sometimes a hand job or a blow job is.
It's fine enough. Yeah, it's good enough.
And a fun time, you know.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah. And but I really enjoyed her personality more, because
yeah, had a good connection.
The moment she opened up, you know, it became so much nicer for me.
Sure.
And
it's good.
It didn't become like a physical act anymore. Like I was really like
Right, you're enjoying the time together.
Enjoying the
stuff like
time,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Excellent.
So we went for dinner together afterwards again.
Nice. Yeah.
So after the lunch in the Indian place, we took her to dinner. I took her to dinner. We went to the lamb place.
Nice.
Yeah, and then after that we had ice cream together, and then we like walked back. I told her, "You're an amazing girl. I had a lot of fun with you. Like you too, you're amazing guy." You know, and we ended it.
Yeah,
So-
good. And then that's a good story. Then what about the? This is one of the more amazing because a lot of guys in Korea think that you need like perfect Korean and like perfect A game, but like you have no Korean. You know, you're learning and everything. And tell me a little bit about like you literally got the girl who's on the cover of Maxim Korea out on a date a few days ago. It was roughly maybe 4 days ago or something.
I think it was on
Not that long ago.
Tuesday.
Yeah, 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Or what is today? Friday? Yeah. So like 3 days ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So share a little bit about that because that's a hell of an accomplishment. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you didn't get delayed, nonetheless, to get a girl that hot on the cover of Maxim, you know,
Yes.
is quite impressive. Yeah.
So yeah, I met this girl also in the sewers.
Sewers. Okay, for people who are listening, it's the Gangnam Station underground area, the
Yes.
underground shopping mall of the metro. Yeah.
Yeah, so I met her
Yeah.
there, and I approached her. I don't really remember how it went. I was sort of one thing I really remember was in the moment. There was no canned line.
That's critical. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very critical. And
What happens in Korea? Here's a little good one. So like just even before we went to this coffee shop here, like what line just almost immediately gets you blown out in Korea?
I like your
with hot
style.
girls. With hot girls.
I like your style.
Yeah, they just look at you and walk away if you say that most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, okay. With this one, it was sort of a natural, observational open or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I called her, "Oh, you look like a fitness girl or gym girl." I think I said yoga girl probably. You know, it always works.
Connect with the Indian roots.
Yes.
Oh my God, you look like you're doing yoga asana all day.
Exactly.
Where is your ashram?
Exactly. So I got her number and a Kakao talk, right? And then we talked a little bit here and there, and it was a fun. She was interacting with me in a fun way, and I got her set on a date for Sunday. Remember, and then she flaked on that, and her
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
and her reason was that she had to go for a haircut.
Hey, welcome to the world of hot girls.
Yeah, so I thought like, what the fuck? Is she like prioritizing a haircut over me? And for a normal person like me, like I would think, oh, that's really like disrespectful, right? Like it's a disrespectful thing to just flake on somebody who you made an appointment with. You know, my European mindset, right? Like you made an appointment with me, and now you're suddenly canceling for a non-urgent matter like a haircut.
I mean, it's kind of butthurt mindset, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but you think like you wouldn't do that to your guy friends if you're guy on guy. So if you come with that frame, you would think like, oh yeah, disrespectful, whatever. But in her, if you now think of her after the fact, she's a Maxim model. Her looks are very important.
Sure.
She wants to stay on top of her game.
Sure.
So in her world, it's like a high priority thing. It's like
Absolutely.
It's
And
like-
the other thing is like if you respond in that way, so a lot of guys they'll get in the situation, your same situation, maybe a girl that hot, Maxim model, or just a super hot girl, and then the girl flakes on them, and then they get all angry. I've had clients like that or friends, and they're like, "What are you doing, canceling on me? What do you think about me? Are you just disrespecting me?" You know what I mean? They go in this like very reactive, butthurt,
Yeah.
kind of low vibrational mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what happens? And then the girl just ends up blocking them, and that's it, right?
Exactly.
However,
I kept
although you
pushing.
had those thoughts, you reacted in that way. Tell me how you reacted. You know what I mean? And then how it played out.
I kept pushing it, keep it fun.
Yeah, just chill, keep it chill, totally understand. Empathy, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, cool. You know what I mean?
And I shared pictures of my experiences in Korea. That was the main thing. Like, and she was constantly interested in it.
Yeah.
I was sharing pictures of being on top of Lotte Tower,
Sure.
having delicious meals, right, and all the kinds of things, right? Just normal stuff, right? Nothing sexual. Also, just
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and not butthurt or not
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 butthurt.
reactive. Not
Yeah,
reactive.
yeah.
That's critical, honestly.
And at some point, she suddenly sends me a link. Also, like oh, this is my fan tree. She turned out to be an OnlyFans girl as well.
Yeah, a lot of them are. A lot these days. A lot of like super hot Korean girls, especially if they're in Maxim or they do hostess kind of work or things like this. Models too. They'll open. I think it's called Fan Tree. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically
Fan Tree,
like it's like a Korean OnlyFans where you pay like a monthly membership and then you get like some nude photos, updates,
Yes.
or videos, or I think you can probably request them to send you
Yeah.
stuff with with payment, of course, right?
Yeah. So I kept once I got that message, you gave me like told me what to say. You told me like, oh, this is a great business for you. Let's go for drinks later, you know.
Right.
So I sent her a message and she didn't respond to it. But okay, fine. I deleted her deleted the chat. But then afterwards I couldn't because she was so hot. You know, I just wanted to like keep trying. So I kept messaging her, and then she was still responsive, and then she was even saying, "I'm in Gangnam in the afternoon. We can meet up," or she was saying such things to me, and so it showed that she was sort of wanted to meet me. So I ended up getting a date with her.
A few days ago, yeah.
Yes, a few days ago, and I got her for a salad, and we ate a salad together, and the conversation was fun. It was a good conversation, but I got what I learned from her. She gave way more tests on me. She was testing me a bit more, some in a subtle way.
Much stronger frame than than the other girls. Yeah.
Like for example, I
remember.
I even said things like, "Oh, you should show me later your favorite K-pop songs." And then she asked me like, "What do you mean later?" She said that was her response, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. So, there's little things probably, and probably talking too long. But I at least tried to, after the date, to walk towards my place. And then she like, let's go inside. And she's like, ooh, I'm not going inside. No, I'm not going inside. Oh, you live here? Yeah, I live here. And anyway, I didn't said bye back then. Like maybe some guy would just say like, yeah, well, screw you, then I would just go inside. Okay, fine, I'll walk with you to the station then. I kept talking, being normal, fun, chill, and made a little bit of eye contact at the end. I called it off, and then she sent me messages afterwards, thank you for everything, and she said, vote for me. She said, vote. She needed my votes to get to become the number one Maxim.
Yeah, Miss Maxim 2023.
Yeah, to become Miss Maxim.
Yeah.
So.
Lessons on really like having stronger frame control.
Yeah.
Being more of a leader in the conversation. Not taking shit. Kind of flipping the script. We talked a little bit about flipping the script on shit tests and stuff like that. Yeah. Building tension with silences and stuff like that. So there are key points to learn from listening back to that date and reviewing that date audio, right?
It felt like an examination, right? That was like my ultimate test. Like,
well, it's kind of like this.
You're graduating from pickup school now. This is your test. Can you handle this one?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like this. Like, yeah. Well, it's kind of like you go for like cute girls who are like maybe 6s, and then like pretty hot ones who are like 7, 7.5, like yoga teachers or hot company workers. Then you get to like the 8.59 range. And then it's like it just gets like to another level where if your frame and your game is not on point, it's like it cracks and it bleeds through and it just falls apart.
Yes.
So it's sort of like a video game where like it's easy to jump through the first few rounds and you get to the final boss and you're like, there's like these flames going.
Browser and Mario, right?
It's like these flames going by you or something like that. You gotta like do backflips and hit him with a fireball or something.
The top guy from Tekken. A lot more harder to fight against.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that was a really good one. All right, so you're leaving here tomorrow, but maybe you can share like, during the course of this program, like how do you plan to implement what we learned in the future, and like what are some big takeaways from this program for going forward, basically?
So as you know, I'm like going to be in a relationship after this.
Yeah.
And what I learned the most is like being a leader. And leading doesn't mean like being a torturous leader, but being like assertive, like bringing up the options, and not like being passive. Like somebody, hold my hand, please don't behave like a child in front of a girl, right? That's I think the biggest takeaway. And also another thing, I mean, maybe not for like applying, but this program has really given me the experience that what I had built up previously in my relationship is that I'm capable of getting another high quality girl like I have right now. I can again regain that, you know, and there are many girls like that, and it gives me sort of an assurance that I'll be okay, you know. I will always be able to attract another equally high quality girl again.
Okay, good. So you have that kind of abundance mindset.
Abundance, yes.
You got the fundamental skill sets, the fundamental
Yes.
mindsets, and the abundance that, I'm going to do my best to work this relationship out. But in case not, I have the abilities, I have the skill set to
Meet a new one.
meet a girl who's high quality and keep her around, and things along these lines, right?
And I know where to go to Korea.
Yeah. It is a good place, right? What would you say for maybe like final words for like there are people who are like not sure whether they want to come check out Korea. Maybe they're living in, Belgium or East Germany or something like that. Or these kind of places. I don't know what it's called. They're living in Liverpool or something like that. So what would you recommend? What kind of advice would you say about coming to Korea in general?
If you want to meet the most attractive Asian girls, so your dream, let's say you're like Asian girls and want to meet the most attractive ones, then the most attractive ones are in Korea. Period. I think.
Yeah. What would you say? That's one thing. Like, remember on day one, like the amount of hot girls you see, for example, in a station like Gangnam or Shinsa, like these big stations in this area, like how you would see, like within 10 minutes or an hour, more than it could be a week or something like that in certain European cities, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just the volume and the quality.
The volume is just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you have like unlimited trials basically.
So it's a great training ground in that regard, right?
It's a great training ground.
Yeah.
And also you can find any type of girl you're actually looking for. If you're looking for a girl for long term, I met a girl in this program which was like perfect for a long term relationship.
Yeah.
I met a girl who was like extremely hot, right?
Yeah.
And maybe for a short term.
Yeah.
You meet very cute girls. You
Right.
meet very educated girls.
Yeah.
More party girls. You can find anything, you know. And any type you're looking for, you can find it here.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining the podcast, and until next time.